This ocean innovator is a co-founder of Marine Megafauna Foundation, whose mission is to save ocean giants from extinction using pioneering research, education, and sustainable conservation solutions. She is a global ambassador for Manta Alfredi and the first person in the world to complete a PhD on this topic. As a conservation biologist and a professional underwater photographer, she had dedicated her life to the preservation and management of the remaining manta race population and other giants. Everyone, please welcome Dr. Andrea Marshall, co-founder of the Marine Megafauna Foundation.
Thanks so much. It's really great to be here with you today.
In a few words, can you tell us what is Marine Megafauna Foundation and why did you create it?
Sure. So marine megafauna are large charismatic species, ones that are often threatened with extinction. So think things like whales, whale sharks, manta rays, sea turtles, dugongs, things like that. And the reason that we created this organization is that I was working in Africa and I was doing a PhD on manta rays here. And I realized that some of the animals that are at risk, at most risk of extinction, are these large charismatic animals that tend to not be able to be bred back once their populations are depleted, and people tend to overfish them and their populations crash quickly. So we kind of thought, you know, maybe we could create an organization that could focus on the conservation of these large threatened species, and at the same time invigorate these, these economies in the African coastline, because these are animals that are worth quite a lot of money to the economy through tourism.
And what are your actions?
So we as an organization, our main objective is to safeguard these threatened marine megafauna species. And we do that by trying to reduce their primary threats. So we kind of have to identify these anthropogenic threats that they face, and at the same time learn more about their biology, their habits, their movement patterns, so that we can also create marine protected areas that will help safeguard them.
And what are your needs and how can we help you?
Well, our needs are pretty much, we have a lot of different needs. One of the things that we rely a lot on is citizen science. So we've actually developed or co-developed these global databases for some of these animals like whale sharks and mantas. And one of the things that we ask people is, if you're a diver and you're in the water, you can help capture information for scientists by simply taking photos of these animals and uploading them to these global databases. So that's actually a way for people to get connected to the research itself and learn more about these animals. We're also constantly short of funding. Some people, support the organization through gifting satellite tags or supporting our expeditions. This type of work is really costly, and we work in some of the most remote locations in the world. So obviously anything that can be done to facilitate our research in these places is very helpful for us as well.
Dr. Marshall, can you tell us more about your manta ray research program?
Sure. So we study a lot of different species at the Marine Megafauna Foundation, but I am also the director of the Global Manta Ray Program, and that's my area of specialty. I think you noted that I did the very first PhD on mantas, and what that means is that we kind of started learning about them for the very first time only about 20 years ago. And so this program has grown organically over time, and we've started to learn everything that we can about the biology and ecology of these animals all over the world. I've discovered new species of mantas. We track their movements all around the globe. And we try and figure out, what the most important places and habitats are for them, what threats they face. And then on a global scale, we work on big conservation measures for them, like putting them on CITES and CMS to try and restrict the trade in their body parts to Asia.
Fascinating. So why is it so important to help manta rays preservation?
I think protecting all different species of marine megafauna is important. I mean, some of them play really important ecological roles, like sharks, for instance, that regulate the ecosystems inshore. But even things like whales and manta rays can bring a lot of nutrients to really isolated benthic communities when they die. But I think the role of marine megafauna is really one of an ambassador. They're iconic species, ones that are greatly loved by the public. And because they're so threatened, when you protect critical habitats for them, because they require really large areas, you end up protecting thousands of other really important species living in the habitats that these large marine species require. So they can really help to, generate the interest for creating these really large, seascapes and marine protected areas.
And why are manta rays so critical for the Mozambique coasts?
It was actually extraordinary to learn how important manta rays were in this region of Eastern Africa. The study that I conducted off Mozambique showed us that we have really the largest population of manta rays living in Africa along this really narrow bit of coastline here. And we actually have both species of mantas living in the same area here in Mozambique, which is one of the only places in the world where you can get both species of mantas living together. So it's a really critical habitat for mantas, and I've spent the last 20 years trying to fight for their protection along this coastline.
Thank you very much, Dr. Marshall. We will finish with a 2-second message you would like to give to our people of action today.
I'd just like to say that we really all have a role to play in saving the planet, so we shouldn't ever be scared to get out there and start something.
And there we go. That was Ocean Innovators release number 7, celebrating 10 years to achieve the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals. Don't forget to press the bell button to subscribe, and we'll see you next time.